about the modern day business, what they've done, what he's done is by offering them the above market share price of what it's really worth, right? And by exposing the fact that most of the people, like, it's methodical. Like, he started showing how most of the people who have accounts in this thing, that millions of followers, don't even have any engagements. Therefore, these followers are not even real. These accounts are not even real. They're not monitored by anybody, and it's mostly bots. So he's basically saying 75% of the whole thing is bots anyway. So those interactive accounts that do exist and these shareholders that do exist, how much money do they really have? And when you phase it out and look at what they actually have, they all don't have enough to basically equal one share. And these are major so-called contributors, shareholders who are there to maintain and make profits for the investors. See what I'm saying? Who are taking the money as shareholders and making a profitable company. So what they want to do is they want to be able to say, okay, this offer is the best that anybody's going to give. But instead of us taking that, we're going to offer you guys more shares of what you already have, right? In something that has only started making money since this person has shown interest in it. So that also means if this thing goes tits up, as they say, he'll pull out. All of the stock crashes. Now nobody has anything. You know what I'm saying? To make money off of anything. So it's in the best interest of them to take the deal. But they don't want to take the deal because Twitter allows them social control, communistic, totalitarian mismanagement of the flow of information. It gives them a stay to be able to negate huge sections of the population, where they now have made it. They've tricked people into believing that you shouldn't say certain things on thing, and that freedom of speech, and that it shouldn't exist in this medium. Like, what? Like I said, if they could shut down the sitting president of the United States and the CIA and these people, he didn't send them niggas in there right then to shut the whole thing down and cite them under the Sedition Act, because that's the one thing that could shut all of this down. All the president got to do is say all of these companies, based upon their meddling, based upon all of this stuff with elections, based upon all of this is all, I see all of this as sedition. So what we're going to do, we're going to nationalize their companies. We're going to take their, because they're capitalists, right? Americans are capitalists, right? So we're going to take their corporations. We're going to break them up the same way we broke up Rockefeller and all of them niggas allegedly in the 20s and all of that. Remember that? Standard Oil was running everything. No, we got to break this up to have some control. See, then when that's happened, now we start to sell off the pieces of the company to private investors or private shareholders or whatever to get their money back. This is what needed. You dig what I'm saying? Like, this is what would happen in the reality that we came from. You dig what I'm saying? Like, remember, we came up in the 80s. What are you talking about? Hostile takeovers is how you made money. That's how they made business. Wow. That's how they made this. How you made bread. Like, that's everything we watched in the 80s. What are you talking about? Dynasty, Falcon Crest, Miami Vice. Like, this is what we grew up on. Rambo. Like, what are you guys talking about? That's the problem. Yeah, it was Wolf of Wall Street, Wall Street. Yes, all of that. All of that money, all of that, we make money in America. That's what we do. You dig what I'm saying? Manchurian Candidate. We will mind control niggas to keep making money. We will put them in the president. They will show you. This is what they do. So let's not act like now we have a problem all of a sudden with millionaires and billionaires making options on making more money. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Everybody wants an electric car. This is what you niggas allegedly want, right? This is what y'all want. Everybody wants to. We got to get the carbon. We got to get the carbon tax going and start charging people for driving their cars. Like what? What are you talking about? What? What? With the climate change and the Arctic melting, like nigga, that was happening 80 years ago. That's been happening for 80 years since y'all found the Antarctic, since y'all created Operation High Jump. Y'all been talking about this climate change, this giant tsunami that's gonna wash away the rest of the world. Unless Allah's doing it, I'm not believing anything y'all talking about. Yeah, Allah can make us a tsunami to destroy the world, but not you niggas. Like what? You could barely stop the birds from defecating on your president while he's making a speech. What are you talking about? And you're gonna put me in camps? That's what you're telling me? That's what I'm supposed to believe? You can't even stop this nigga from drooling on TV. And you're gonna tell me you're gonna send people to my house in camps in mass to give mass people in mass? You can't stop these niggas from drilling each other and rapping about it. You know what I'm saying? To the point the white man is like, I'm gonna make laws now to where I got to use, in order to stop these niggas from rapping about this shit, I gotta make laws now to stop these niggas, to use their lyrics against them, so to at least stop them from doing that, so we can shut down some of this music. Just the white man. That's what y'all got the white man doing. Thinking up ways to stop y'all from killing each other. Look at the reality we in now. He got to create ways to stop niggas from shooting each other. Whereas the reality that we came from, it was the reverse. He found ways to trick you into doing it. See what I'm saying? This shit didn't work too well. They done worked too well. They done merged the reality, blended the blurred lines too much. It's working too good. So now you got to create laws to do that. And you know who's trying to stop them from doing that shit? The same rappers who've been rapping about selling you cocaine, selling you lean and pills, tricking out your mother, your grandmother, right? This is what these niggas been rapping about all these years. We've been dancing to all these years. This is what. And now these same niggas now that done served time, that been preying on the community, that continue to make negative imagery that we find entertaining. That's why they're doing it, because we still find it entertaining, because it's entertaining. And it's pathetic on all sides of us. It's a cycle. You understand what I'm saying? To the point now where one of the hottest rappers, excellent. Just be careful, all right? Slowly. It's a cycle. Everybody's on this shit. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you know what I mean? Like Al Sharpton got a show on CNN, B. Like, this is what I'm saying. Al shit talking Sharpton got a show on CNN, looking like a bobblehead with this old head on this young body. How do they do that? And nobody's asking these questions on TV. Nobody's. So this is what I'm saying. We're supposed to just be like, all right, this is what it is, right? Okay, cool. So this is what y'all think a democracy is. So what we should then do, we should then understand the difference between a democracy, right, and a republic. Let's see, what's the difference? Just so we know what we're moving away from, because they can't be both. We can't be in a republic and a democracy at the same time. Now, granted, we as melanated original people from the soil, from whatever, these are just earthly ant farms that our physical has found themselves in. You understand? But within all of it, in this landmass, we're guaranteed one of these things. Okay, everybody understand what I'm saying? So a democracy is the direct rule of the people, while republic is characterized by the standard form of government. Moreover, democracy is characterized by the rule of the majority, while in a republic, government rules according to law. You hear that? In a democracy, the power lies in the people, while in the republic, the power lies in the laws that have been created. But wait, remember, this was written by the white man, so you gotta, and I'm not just talking about white man like skin color. I'm talking about the clever man, as they talk about in the Aborigine culture. Like, there's a flip. This line right here. In a democracy, the power lies in the power of the people, while in a republic, the power lies in the laws that have been created. Well, who created the laws? Who created the laws? The people, right? So why not just why not just say that the laws, where power lies in the laws that have been created by the people? See what I'm saying? See how when you leave the people out, you leave it open for laws to be inserted that have just been created. But been created by who? We don't know. You don't know. Now, demo, right? As in demonstration or demonstration, right? You know what another word for demonstration is? You know another word? What's a three-letter word for demonstration? Anybody? Good word. No, but that's good. Yes, Shaka, Islam, an act. Yes, an act is a demonstration, and a demonstration is an act. But not all acts are demonstrative. But all demonstrative things are acts. You understand? This is the problem with how modern political science and things like that are taught, because they are taught without the understanding of what the rule of law is. A key difference between democracy and republic is that democracy is the direct rule of the people, while republic is characterized by a standard form of government. What is a standard form of government? Anyone? What is a standard form of government? Yes, a republic can be a standard form of government because it is but why? What does it do? In a republic, how is it? Well, no, that's a religious, a theocratic aspect of it, ecclesiastical. No. For it to be a republic, it must what for the people? It must what for the people? It must what? Yes, that's the benefit is what happens. That's what it is. That's what it stands for. That's what it does. But what the word I'm looking for is, I give you a hint, starts with a R. It must what the people? Yes. Yes. Represent, as was said by the illustrious Joey Crack. Right? It must represent the people. Therefore, a Republican form of government is a representative form of government. What you represent yourself as is how you are and thereby governed or be governed by, right? Democracy can be explained as a government of the masses. Direct expression is underlying factor in democracy. The election of public officials by the people is the underlying factor in a republic. So as you see, one has an active form of representation, which is what? The election of public officials, whereas the other one is explained as a government of the masses. You see, one is the government of the mob, that's the democracy. Then the other is the republic. That's the guaranteed form of government that we are guaranteed by the representatives that establish the government for us to exist or coexist within. Islam. So because our forefathers were the first establishers on earth of a republic in the form of a place they call Carthage, right? That republicanism became the factor by which they governed the areas in which. And then after such, in areas beyond their reach, they established a similar fashion, right? A similar version where people who weren't actually born or from there could vote or could do things, but it wasn't counted along the same line. You understand? And therefore they could demonstrate, i.e., act like they were down, right? And they had to say, even though that say was somewhat, albeit ceremonial. You see? Because it kept them happy, it kept them working, you know what I'm saying? It kept them from, you know, pillaging or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? That's why the representation of one party is that of the elephant, which was the ancestral uh, uh, representation of the republic, which is the elephant, because the republic, the basis of the republic is based upon the structure of the elephantine families. So from time immemorial, this is the sign that they had used to represent that, due to the elephant's integral part of our society. We use the elephants like dogs, but they were great caregivers and protectors. I would say going back to the mammoth phase, you know what I'm saying, especially over here. So, as we see, one then has substance, the other has the appearance of substance. See? See? Doesn't that represent the Republican and Democrats right now? Republic is a standard form of government. The standard form of government of a republic applies to almost all republic countries of the world. A republic is a form of government. See, they keep saying it. Form. The word form, right? Form of government. And it involves the election of an executive, legislature, and judiciary body to uphold justice in the country in recognition of individual rights. See that? A republic has a chief of state and at the helm of affairs, and he can usually be the president. He can be. That's just another title. But the form, how it is structured, is always the same or supposed to be. But the reverse, but if you have the word form, right, and you spell it backwards, what do you have? Exactly. And that's why governments usually morph into the alternate versions of themselves when the wicked and these people start taking control. Because the basis of what a republic is the fact that you have to be elected. The basis of the democracy is that the majority rule. Those are two specifically different ideologies. Do you understand? So anybody that's Democrat, right, to a certain degree, is some sort of grifter or whatever at best. Definitely a racist, either to themselves or their own situation. Whereas somebody who's called themselves a Republican, right, those are also can be the same people. Because most people don't understand the true roots or origin of either. You understand what I'm saying? So they're just going along with what they think it got to be because they are going by the modern understanding of it. They have no contextual understanding because their understanding, again, is nurtured by this new ESG type situation where everything is being filtered through this fake inclusionary, dogma, which again is a so-called Democrat base. You understand? So the idea of racist is more important than stopping racism. You understand? It can never stop because if it does, then equality would mean that there would be no more conjecture. And the conjecture is what keeps the whole situation moving along the lines of exclusionary politics, which is what we're dealing with now. And then if you exclude the politics, then now you can institute the fake version, you understand, of what so-called politics are, what they're supposed to be, which is really the discourse between two individuals to come to a common accord, or at least a stalemate, you understand? But you can't have that anymore because the people who allegedly are here to protect freedom, are saying that freedom can only be established through intense control. And the people that are spouting this are the people that look like me and you. They're the number ones. They're the number ones doing. And if they're not spouting that, they spout in the exact opposite. They either towing the line of it, or they're representing the part of the entertainment part of our destruction. You understand? So just like you say Republican and Democrat, just look at it from the perspective of like, yeah, you're really crazy when you start hearing terms like Democratic Republic or Democratic Social Republic or Social Democrats. When you start hearing stuff like that, or liberal Social Democrats, those you better run. Them people really crazy. They're really totalitarian Marxists. They're really totalitarian Marxists. Really Stalinists. Really, really, they're suicidal nihilists. Really, but to themselves, or let's say based on actions, they would be, hardcore elitist Stalinists. Very xenophobic, very hard-handed, but thinking that what they're doing is for the betterment of the people to come after them. But they don't believe that but the people can't be, male or female. Like this, how crazy they are. So when you look at it from the perspective now, they got original people thinking that two Caucasian people can produce an EU melanin-based being, which will never be true. It would never be true. Like when you see movies where it'll be like the Caucasian woman and she's wound up having a baby and they don't know the husband's wife, but they don't know how the baby wound up black and all of that. Those shows will tell you They'd be like, oh, well, you know, there was an ancestor because the grandmother or whoever was Caucasian. And back in our great grandmothers in them days, the same way like today, we wouldn't necessarily rock with like Greek type fraternal type people, let's say. Not saying you can't be cool with them and stuff, but like in terms of going to their functions, chilling out with them and all of that, you know, you look at them a little different because they're involved in a different type of culture. So the same way that was happening in our time is the same way back in the days. You had people who was a part of things like the Blue Vein Society and stuff like that, who would come up with scientific ways for them to establish melanin bleaching and melanin harvesting and stuff like that. That's where the Ancestral process was coming from, where it was basically dipping people in the black people in types of acid that would let the melanin come off of them, and then they would use it for whatever. It's online. You can check it out. But today they got you thinking that pheomelanin, right, which is basically this, can somehow create this, when really on this, if you were to look at this from a presentation, right, it would make you think that this was more dominant. One, because it's lighter. Two, because it's more, right? And three, because it's going from left to right. But in reality, the color spectrum is going, from right to left. In reality, the color spectrum is going from left to right. Because two pheomelanin people could not produce an eumelanin person. But two eumelanin people could produce a pheomelanin person or an eumelanin person at the same time, due to what is called the so-called Eve gene in the original so-called woman, who is the linchpin in their control over what's going on, due to her being constantly paired with other people from other nationalities, as well as on TV. I'm talking about in majority. You know what I'm saying? On that, and her being raised to positions of power in mainstream politics, but she's always married. She's either gay or married to a Caucasian woman or married to a Caucasian man. Regardless to that, though, they're always maintaining whatever the state line is of the people who put them in there, because they weren't put in there by people that look like me and you. Because people that look like me and you are the actual nationals of the country, so we don't even be voting anyway. So the people they really pandering to, you understand, is the people that's caught up in them thinking that all of this is real. That's what I was trying to tell people. We was going back and talking to people about the whole stab thing from the very beginning. Remember, y'all? 2 years ago, from the very beginning, I'm telling everybody, I'm giving people the patent numbers. I'm telling people all this stuff they saying that is fake is not fake. Like, they can't, like, you just gotta press them, and people just, you know what I'm saying? Some people's like, nah, I gotta do it. But no, you didn't. You don't. Because the melanin that's in you was called the EU melanin. Even them calling it EU melanin is a flip. Them calling it melanin is a flip. First of all, melanin comes from, again, what they're referring to as a Greek word. But you and I know that the Greeks didn't exist like that. Not the way that they're talking about. You can't say that Plato and these people who are referring to themselves as Greek was like really major power brokers in the world like that. If this nigga had to leave there and go to another place called Egypt, right, that he calling Egypt, that they told him was Egypt, and then had to get the knowledge, right, on what was going down and all of that. And look what happened. And then from there, he then goes back to live in a place was really the ruins of really the Mycenaean culture. It wasn't even the ruins that he was living in. They was living in wasn't even Greek ruins. They was Mycenaean ruins. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about what was going down. know what I'm saying? And we really talking about what happened. So why are we going by what this guy's talking about? And we got our own ancestors that was alive at the same time. But right now, any one of us could get on a plane, I deal with that like independently. You can hit me up, via email, and we can build on that. But any of us right now can go on a plane and go to so-called Timbuktu and ask to read the books. They got all the books still there. Everybody talking about Ethiopia and all that, no doubt, but they got the books right there, right now, of everything that was going down over there and over here. You know what I'm saying? But what we do is wait for the movie to come out. Because out of all of the so-called black billionaires that exist in our, group, nobody is up to the point that they've actually created like services outside of something that we could wear or listen to. This dude, Elon, he trying to basically free up humanity's voice. Like in 30 years, if this nigga say, well, in 2 years, if he say, yo, I wanted to we could do that tomorrow, bro. I'm in the middle of what we going through, but you definitely hit me up tomorrow on that. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, it just comes down to where everybody is at or what they think they are, because everybody want to declare what a nationality and stuff, but it's like, what are you declaring? What type of government are you saying that you are independent of? And if you're independent of it, Islam. And if you're independent of it, why are you then wanting to receive benefits from it? You see how you can get jammed up? Because ultimately it's about what we're seeing right here. That's what's on your screen. The aspect of how melanin itself has translated in us and how it was incarnated in others. And how it's seemingly like we have no history, right? Yet we got examples of us in museums in these people's countries all over the world. You know what I'm saying? Like all over the world, there's evidence of us as us, literal statues of us looking like us, right? From many different time eras, and yet we're supposed to be the Negroes or the African Americans with no knowledge of self and no culture, and was allegedly brought over here from Africa, and we only look the way we look because our grandfathers and grandmothers, our grandmothers was all raped by white men, right? Then they gave us a book to go with it, a couple of years of TV to go with that, and then boom. You know what I'm saying? Here we are. You know what I mean? And the first, like I said, the first people to come up as millionaires in our community are the niggas that was selling us drugs in our community. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? That's what I'm trying to say. Like we're at a standstill culturally at this point. And it's self-inflicted. It's self-inflicted by people agreeing that seeing everybody crip walk at the Super Bowl was somehow freeing to us mentally as a people. You understand? To be raised up now to the point that the very thing that was meant, we grew up watching movies of, those of us that didn't grow up in LA. My cousin did after her moms took her and stuff and all of that. But if we keeping it real, like those people to us that didn't grow up in LA, but grew up in the era of like pseudo consciousness, we remember that when that era came in, that's when everything about California was what they showed us. Low riders, niggas smoking weed, gangs, niggas shooting each other, you know what I'm saying? Lokes, like, you know what I'm saying? Uh, you know, what colors not to wear. And that became the stereotype for a whole generation of people, man. To this day, that is still that. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's still that. It's still dudes that's grown. You understand? That's grown men that still get down like that. Like, because we were the first ones to have our tragedies marketed to us as entertainment. And then our entertainment, which was tragedy, became the 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 opiate for the entire world. And the narrative is whenever one of these niggas, there's always a nigga like Ricky. Whenever this nigga's about to make it, what happens? Somebody shoot him down. Who's that? Nipsey Hussle. Who's that? What's his name? See what I'm saying? There's always somebody else. You dig what I'm saying? Like, that's the narrative. How many Rickies been out there? See what I mean? Just like there's a bunch of doughboys. Right. Why? Because the very people that this dude is trying to fight in Twitter are the same people who really have no stock in it. That's the thing. They don't have any stock in this thing the way that he has proposed to give. So they have to then give what's called a poison pill, where they want to devalue, give everybody that already have stock more stock in order to bring the value of the total stock down to be able to give more people a share. So you know what that is? You know what that is? That's a false democracy. That's what we've been reading about. That's a democracy. Elon allegedly is trying to turn it into a republic where people who had their voices shut down would be heard again. That means that, according to the narrative, he's on the right side of history. Anybody on the other side of that is a tyrant. You understand? So that means everybody in your life, this is how far it trickles down. Everybody in your life is either a tyrant for this thing or a liberator. Starting with you. Most so-called black people are conservatives, period. If we're talking politics, your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, these people was not Democrats. You know who was Democrats? They stupid, liberal, dumb, bust kids. All them kids that got bust out. Remember all them kids that got bust out the hood and went to the white schools and the white people was calling them nigga and beating them up and all that type of shit? Remember them kids? Those is the kids that wound up being them kids that was sitting in the stores, in them white people stores, getting thrown up, beat up, spit on, and all of that. And those are the kids that wound up becoming the first generation of black Democrats. Hear what I'm telling you? Black Democrats who was out here. These are the Butler people. These is them people. These is the ones that was always bootlegging, always trying to come up, always turning the blind eye, always doing whatever they had to do to get in. So that way, once they got in there, these is the first generation of black people that was marrying the white people. You understand? They was marrying the white people, Diane Carroll, James Earl Jones, Quincy Jones, all of these niggas. And this was the first generation. This was the generation where it flipped, where it went from the quasi Christian backed conservative black liberation theology, right, to being transferred over to who now? To these hippie, commie, uh, to these hippie, commie, Marxist, jazzed out, drugged up, Harvarded out, Yaled out, Boulayed out, Freemasoned out, right? Generation. These is the John Lewises and the what you call it, and the Whitney Youngs and the rest of these niggas. These is the ones, the ones that came under A. Philip Randolph and them. These is the ones. These is the ones that was there to distract us from the real Black Wall Streets that was all over the country that we owned. That we owned before these niggas came around and said that the white folks stuff was better. We owned it. They came, said, no, we done went to school with these white folk and we done seen that everything that they got is better than ours. What? Them white folk only had that land for about 100 years since they took it from us. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's why niggas in the hood was looking at them like they was crazy. Because in the hood, this was also the generations of those of y'all niggas that didn't go or that didn't have a trade was now going to have to just be out there. And now they became the first generation of Nicky Barneses. You see what I'm saying? And what's his name? The one before him, Bumpy Johnson. This is where these niggas is coming from. But they still had some sort of race pride at the end. Some of them was still, watch this, they still had some sort of race pride and all of that. But they were still working, right, for the people. So that's where all these people today come from. This is where the Ketanji Jackson. When the last time you met a black woman named Ketanji? When the last time you met a black woman born in America with an African name? Really? In the era where black people is naming their children Connor and Taylor and Riley. What are you talking about? Ketanji? What? That don't even sound African. That don't even sound African. That sounds like some made up stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it's fake. So what I'm saying is these guys that have been giving us the Black American history, the Ta-Nehisi Coates, right? These dudes, these communists. That's all they want to do is see. They want us to constantly blame these Caucasian people. When what I'm showing you here, again on your screen, is the EU melanin, FEU melanin. The fact they even put EU before melanin show you how it's some fake mind control stuff. Because EU mean hillside, right? And we know that our melanin didn't derive in the hillside. Rope mean to bind in. So we mostly dealing with graphs tonight. This was from, I believe, Wesley Muhammad, who I don't know or I don't condone or whatever. But somebody sent this to me, and it was great because it had the breakdown of what I've been talking to y'all about. So this is the thing. The only one left out of this is Empire, I believe. Empire got the most dead rappers right now. But this is all corporations on Earth right now. The people that's trying to stop Elon Musk from buying the thing really is the Vanguard group, the Blackstone group, and the Vivendi group. Vivendi is the people that run all of entertainment. These are the French oligarchs going all the way back to the good old Venetian Empire, Venetian trade empire that was a tributary to the old Moorish Empire. These so-called Jews, the Medicis, who were the head family at that time, they were at war with another family called the Ordonisi. And the Ordonisi and the Medici, they were both in league to pay for who would become the Pope at Rome, but Western Rome, not Eastern Rome. They had no power in Eastern Rome. Okay? Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to him in a minute. But I'm saying that all of this is running from the same root. All of this poisonous is all poisonous fruit from the same tree. Because all of these come from that family. So these Medicis and all of that, these are the ones, these dirty Moors were the ones that created the underworld that we know today as the crime families of the world. You understand? At one point, everybody paid tribute to the Sultan. Everybody paid tribute to the Khan. Any money that you held over was because of the noble deeds that you had done. Because at that point, you see what I'm saying? In whatever society he was seen as the representative of all. You understand? So all had to come to him, and then him or her, and then he would give it back, or was supposed to give it back. When he didn't give it back, that's when he became a tyrant. That's when eventually they were overthrown. So in essence, he was the head trustee. He was the president. See what I'm saying? Of the world corporation. And everybody who was putting in their work based on the meritocracy, based on the good deeds, the noble deeds that you had done. It was later. It was through these devils, the Medicis, like I said, the Orsinis, the ones that own Vivendi, the ones that own Black Rock, and these people, Prince Waleed and these niggas. These are the ones I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? When the Saudi Arabians started out, they was darker than me. You understand? In the 50s, they was darker than all of us that's on the TV, right? That's in class right now. So how within 2 generations, these niggas is all bleached out, and they're enslaving people that look like us over there. So is it any wonder that all of these people want to poison pill this merger? Why? Because we are waking up to the monster that we helped create, that we call hip hop. So what you're going to see in the next couple of months is the resurgence of conscious hip hop now. They're going to try to bring they're going to dust these conscious rappers off now to make it, to bring back the faith in it. The same way they brought Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back in No Way Home. They're going to bring back the nostalgia for you. They're going to wrap you in the mythos to be like, oh, remember when this was dope? You're going to be like, yes. You're going to see this one and that one. It's going to be great. But they all, again, was just buying their time. Why? Because of what I'm showing you here. This has all been exposed now. This is over now. You understand? All of these people, Lil Nas X created a song called Industry Baby. He telling you, I was birthed by these devils. I'm birthed by, remember, by Sony. How can he be a good artist or person or whatever when Sony is #1 behind him? You think if Michael Jackson was alive, this nigga would be out? Do you think half of the stuff that's happening in music right now would be out if Michael Jackson was alive? Y'all believe that? Let me tell you how gangster, how revolutionary this nigga Michael is. Forget a diss record. Eminem dissed this man one time in a record. You know what Michael did? Somebody played him the record. He said, ha, ha, ha. He laughed just like that. Ha, ha, ha. Then a week later, he owned all of Eminem publishing. He owned all his publishing, bought it all. Then bought all the D12 publishing. Then went and started to buy up all the Interscope publishing. Then started buying up all of Universal publishing. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Michael Jackson owns 75% of the music industry, and you wondering why they worried about Elon? You see what happened when one nigga get in the door, and he was Muslim at the time he did it, y'all. Remember? He was Mikael. He was an ill man. He did this as a Muslim. While they was calling the pedophiles, while they was setting up the documentaries or all of that. Remember that? Come on now. Come on now. It's over. You know if I'm talking about it, it's over. And I've been talking about it. But once I heard this thing, the more sent me the graph, I was like, word Wesley on that. I was like, okay. Okay, it's really over now. It's really over. Look, let me show you how deep it is. What happened to the Brooklyn shooter? What y'all heard about that since? Nothing. Nothing. You ain't hear nothing about it. Because it was fake. It was an op. It's all to initiate the black extremist program that they tried to initiate 4 summers ago. And niggas shut it down in the congressional floor. The Republican senator, the Republican senator shut it down. So, well, when have you arrested anybody for this? In all the history this allegedly exists, you only arrested one person. Like, y'all crazy. Meanwhile, these rappers is out here inciting riots. Astroworld, allegedly, right? These rappers is contributing to the delinquency of a minor. That's all of the weed and all of the lean and all of the Sprite and all that shit you see in the video, right? They doing all of that. Kidnapping, they doing all this. Look, Craig Coleman. So right above Warner, this is where we get into the three-headed beast right here. At the very top, you have Len Blavatnik. You try to make a diss song on Len Blavatnik. You want to be a gangster? You want to be a gangster, nigga? Do a diss record on Len Blavatnik, Edgar Bronfman, David Geffen, and Sumner Redstone, nigga. Do diss records at them. Do drills at them. You want to be gangster. You want to be real on that. Make it happen. Start stepping word. Word. Step with the big boys. That's right. Start smoking Blavatnik packs. Start doing that. Then you'll be gangster. Then you'll go down in history. Because nobody's going against the gay mafia like that. And from what I hear, Geffen is the one of the top godmothers in that shit. Allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So this is how it's going. Like, this is real talk. Like, I'm speaking facts. like facts. Okay? So Jimmy Iovine and all of that, that's why Iovine and these niggas look like they never getting no younger. Because they don't want the main ones in the ritual. They the main ones out. They the main ones that got these young rappers doing whatever they could do to be next to them, bunny hopping or whatever else they doing. They the secret puppets that's running all of that. And like I said, this is an old tactic of the Medici and these families. Because above all of this, like I said, is the three major corps. And these are the ones that have their little puppeteers that's out there trying to do all of that. So Waleed and the rest of them is on this level. They're on the Blavatnik level and all of that. Because they all serve the beast. You understand? They all serve this dude who they all agree is the devil, is Lucifer. And he's the one that dictates all of that, but he can only be at one place at one time. So they get secret president to have what's his name president, the public president, the puppet dude, do what he's supposed to do. Just like the master and the apprentice in Star Wars. They've been telling us how they run these systems. Like, we just think it's thing. That's why they breaking up. That's why they trying to destroy all that stuff. You understand? They trying to destroy all that stuff so that way you don't know how this stuff work. It ain't about making people inclusive. It's about destroying the clues that they left in all of the movies that we've been decoding for the past 25 years. You understand that certain movies they went from a phase of like just doing this stuff randomly, nobody talking about it, to our community actually doing whole lectures on different movies, breaking down the whole thing, which then breaks the spell of what the movie was supposed to give you that in the dark in the first place. So then they had to start to combat it by actually putting more symbolism in it, which then made us even more ill to the point where we would just know with the title what it was about and all that. So they had to find a way to get rid of all of that. That's what all of this is about. So when you see war games, you don't make the connection between how Skynet can I play a game. You see what I'm saying? The Terminator, the whole thing. They shutting all of that down. That's why I stopped making videos like that, personally. Because I got tired of waiting for these people to put videos out and then people making other videos about the videos I'm making videos. It's like, what am I doing? If somebody asks me, then yeah, I'll go through it. But for the most part, we already did all of that. Like in the first year and a half of me doing this stuff publicly. You know what I mean? So at the end, when you hear these dudes talking about 300 Entertainment, Interscope, Sony, those are the little people. Though they don't own nothing, that's why they could give Snoop death row. That's why Suge was such a threat. You understand? Because he was set to be the king of LA. Like for real. Like there's a movie called Hotel Artemis, and they talk about the Wolf King of LA. That was where Suge was going. That's where he was about to be. You understand that the Death Row owned MCA Records at one time? All of MCA. That means all of the artists that was on MCA Records, Suge Knight owned. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Like behind the scenes, they buy and sell each other. Remember when Jay-Z made Me and My Girlfriend? Remember that? Remember that, y'all? Remember that? Well, what you didn't know was the reason why he could do that was because Roc Nation bought Tupac and them publishing from Death Row 4 years before that. Yes, in 03. And they were the Bonnie and Clyde because they stole it. You see what I'm saying? Due to knowledge. Yes, he already owned all the publishing and all that. That's why they fear Suge so much. Because he was taking all of the power, bringing it back to LA. Remember, Suge owned Jodeci. Suge owned, what's his name? At Bad Boy and all of that. He owned all of that because he owned MCA. So technically, he owned Bad Boy. Do you understand what was happening? This is why people was dying. So the white man, what does he do? He got to conceal all of this high-powered money shit and people getting off shit. He got to conceal that. So what does the white man do? He create a cover story. What's the cover story? East versus West. Who's the face of that? Tupac and Biggie. Bet. Let's go. That's what's happening. That's what I'm telling you. It's crazy. As crazy as it sounds, this is what's been going on. The white man been trying to spoil these niggas from destroying not only the black community, but the financial community of Vivendi and their money. Of these rich European type of people and their money. How you think Kanye was able to reach Balenciaga and all of that? All of this had to get shut down. Promises had to be made. Niggas had to be castrated and neutered. You understand? They had to create a whole generation of beta males. That's why all of the TV show, all of the movies after Revenge of the Nerds started to be about the nerd type dude always rising up above the dude that everybody, even the girl that he eventually liked. Most of the time, the movie start, the girl is already with him. So he's a stalker. The geek dude is the stalker. And there's always a situation that allowed the geek dude to be celebrated, and then the real alpha dude, who is what? Usually the varsity guy, usually the cop, usually the firefighter, usually something manly, something that actually is there to protect women. I ain't lying. Like, this is psychological. This is how they've been setting this shit up. And we think, and then just the other day, you can look it up. Disney employees admit to gay agenda. And like I said, this has nothing to do with even gay people. Even about them. They just using them too. They just use. When the last time you heard anybody use the term gay? Whenever people talk, they start talking LGBTQPDO, right? They sound crazy. They start rattling off a bunch of alphabets. Gay people is not like that. Gay people is cool. Gay people are not the ones enforcing this on you. The people that's enforcing this on you is the alphabet people. But who else is alphabet people? FBI, CIA, ATF, NSA. Like, it's all the same people. It's all the same people. is all I'm saying. And all of them people listen to hip hop, and all of them people got kids that grew up under that, and all of their kids are being manipulated and influenced by this shit too. That's what I'm saying. That's where this is going. That's why they have to be stopped. That's why Allah got this thing on them. Because karma don't exist. That's something, priests and these people made up to try to conceal what they was doing. You know what karma is? Karma is people that's in on it not saying nothing. That's what karma is. And that's what all of this society is. This don't snitch is the same thing as the cops not talking. There's no difference in any of that. They're both concealing the ones that's crime. Even the good ones. They're concealing the crimes of the bad ones. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, it's the same thing as niggas in the hood. Raping, killing, doing all of that. And because this my man, I can't say nothing. Some of these so-called gang members and stuff, these dudes is under they hostages in life. They can't get out. They want to get out. They can't. They can't. Remember when they came out with this? Remember this? This is what I mean, man. Like, do you understand that you survived the summer of death? This was the summer of death. This was the summer of millions of, like, this is what they were saying in the winter last year. Go back and look at the videos, man. This is what I'm saying. Go back and listen to what I'm saying, man. You were supposed to be gone already. You're supposed to be out of here. Now how many people been out of here since? Leave him alone. My cat. You're supposed to be out of here. Remember this? There's a reason why the coronavirus is not being pushed as black ailment, contrary to the thousands upon non-blacks perishing from this pandemic. Exposes the scam and diabolical reason this evil narrative is being pushed. Share this video everywhere. See this? This how many that was going out. Look, only 3% of us, 43% of them was out of here. And it hasn't stopped for that. That's what I'm trying to say, the difference between a recessive and a dominant. They've gotten us to devalue our genetics, so we don't forgot. How can you remember when this thing happened? Look at the fertility rates for them. It's over. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. For the first time, they admitted that we finally cracked the 13th percentile in terms of our birth rate. Because for some reason, for 40 years, we was checked at 30%. 13% of the population. Like, how can that be? If we're committing allegedly 90% of the crimes in the country, how does that make sense? How does that even make sense? It don't. It's not real. They created a narrative and they got niggas to go along with it. They told you they had a meeting where they told these niggas that everything that they did from now on was going to be about gangster rap and money and materialism and all of that. And they all went along with it. Do you remember any of them making records coming out back then telling us about this meeting? No, these niggas wait 20 years. 20 years they wait and tell us about it. And then if I say that they Masons, then they Freemasons, then I'm bugging, right? So something wrong with me, right? Come on, man. Why you ain't make a record about it then? Why you ain't protest then? That's all I'm saying. No, like a Freemason, you keep the secret. You wait. Great. Thanks, guys. Thanks. But none of this changes. Look, remember, I told you, way back then, they was letting you know who this thing was really there to affect. So again, what happened to the Brooklyn shooter? We don't know nothing. Nothing. We don't know. But what we do know is he talked about what's his name on his little YouTube thing, And then the next thing you know, they raided him. Remember? Shut down his little cult. That's what I'm saying. These things be having straight, and I seen it. And I told niggas, like, I'm not down with it. I told people it was creating cult personalities around these people. I'm not gonna let you do it to me, and I'm not gonna let you try to group me into it like that's what I'm trying to do with people. Nah. Nah. These dudes been out here bugging. Bugging. Like I wouldn't even have it take a certain like the shame. Like I got too much shame to be acting like that. To just be saying like whatever, like all of that. Nah, man. Like I got a mother, you know what I'm saying? I had a father. Like nah, I ain't out here just going back and forth with other men on about ideas, about foregone conclusions. Are you crazy? That's gay. You see what I'm saying to me? Like that. There's something up with that. That you're trying to create this relationship that doesn't exist. Like, nah, it don't, man. Yo, but that's what I'm saying. If they on it like that, let them take it up. Show us how devoted you are to your God. If that's your God and you got it, go get him out if that's what you feel that you need to do. I don't believe in that. I don't condone none of that. But if that's the God and that's what your God put you in the context to do, then it's up to you to turn it up. You supposed to make it happen. Let me tell you, if that was the white man God locked up in jail, they'd have been got that nigga. Them white people been got him out somehow. But these guys have created that. Why? Because of things like rap. Like there is an actual joint, brother Raymond Pearl Jr. On his joint, he did a lecture and he was talking about the correlation between drug companies and rap and how it, the rap songs and stuff like that was basically used. This is like a graph of how it was. Because like rappers would say certain stuff and you would think they would be talking about weed, but they would be talking about something else. Like when you heard Piff, a lot of people thought that was weed. But in the crib, like in Brooklyn, they were saying Piffington, like where that Piffington at, right? But Piffington was really coke. You know what I'm saying? But they got us in with the weed. They got us in with the weed because this was also at the time. Remember, this was also hip hop was also coming at the rise of this whole Contra thing, and them trying to establish relationships so that way they could put themselves back in power at Cuba, as well as funnel that money to Afghanistan to the war that they eventually would win. You can get the movie Charlie Wilson's War to watch that, and then eventually then have to go back and fight them after 9/11 because the Taliban at that time had shut down all the opium fields up there, and they wasn't letting them up there to for their harvest and all of that. So Cheney and Halliburton and them wasn't having it. So they needed a reason. So they got Colin. They doped him up and sent him into the UN floor to lie for 45 minutes about why they need to go into Iran and all that. You know what I'm saying? But he still go down as a great man. You know how many people died and all that? That's why nobody got sympathy for the United States right now. So boom, by the time Lil Wayne and them came in the cipher, that's when all of this stuff became cool, right? Promethazine, scissor, drank, right? What's in my cup? MoMA, X, pills, Xannies, Addies, Morphes, Petties, Perkies, right? 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 But you know when all of this started? Way back in the days when you was home watching TV, and then all of a sudden these little drug commercials started coming on Channel 5 and shit. Started advertising. All of a sudden, all the beer commercials was gone, and it was all these commercials started on Channel 5 and then just started bleaching out to everything else. So this is what I'm saying. The rappers, yes. Channel 5, Channel 7. Thank you, Moore. Exactly. And what that did, what that drug over all of them drugs over a specific time frame created a bio algorithm that started to manifest in the generational cycles of the children that will be born. So the addictive reality would become more cemented as the generations progressed. Do you understand? Not only so, on one side is trying to break America, one side is trying to preserve America while keeping us out. The other side is trying to integrate in while keeping us out. You see what I'm saying? That's niggas on our side. They trying to integrate in while keeping the rest of us out, because they are the descendants of the blue vein societies. You understand? And those blue vein societies are the descendants of those original Prince Halls and these niggas that descended from those children of the first generation of European migrants, i.e. workers, i.e. nobles and indentures that came over here, married somebody that was already over here, had those children. Those children went to colonial schools, right? Or pre-colonial schools, meaning the schools that were on the common, that were English established, while at the same time seeing the freedom of those of us that wasn't English, whose land it actually was, who lived outside the colony, who could go and come as they pleased. The only people that was like them that could go in and out as they pleased were the ones that were a part of some sort of tributary fraternal organization, meaning an organization that was sending money to the king that would give them the right to have secret meetings, and the king would then give a portion of that money to the tributary host or whoever's land he was then occupying. And those niggas, you see what I'm saying, through that situation, couldn't, under the law that they were born under, become noblemen in that system. So they had to agree to go into an inferior system under the Irish Corps. And at this time, these Irish was just melanated people like them. Only thing, they was being imported up from Jamaica because they had just been kicked out of so-called Ireland. And now they were subjects as that, and they were under the Transportation Act. So now they were brought up there. But they were working off their indenture as being auxiliary soldiers to the king. And thus, because they had a nationality outside of that, they were allowed to have their own fraternal order. But there was a military order, auxiliary at that. So they didn't even really have no power. But from that, they said okay to Prince Hall. And then Prince Hall was like, okay. And then they adopted their way of doing it. He gave them the ritual. They dressed up like the Moors to try to get on the boat to steal the charter. They threw off the tea as the diversion. And from there, they was eventually given a G7 charter from the Lodge in London, which at that time was in New York. They can make it into whatever they want and turn it into whatever they trying to say. But in their Masonic library, the story go just like that. Whatever they telling these niggas in the vulgar world, that's all for the tank. That's all for the weed and the cannabis heads and the Buddha heads and the rest of these people with the fake story. But for those of us that know what it is, this is what all of this is about. The fact that they have been, fertility rate has been declining severely. And they've been trying to slow down the people's perception of that. And because of that, what they want to do as the members of the corporation is diversify humanity enough where humanity accepts a division within itself, where some people check out altogether and just go into the metaverse. Why would you want to go into a heaven or hell, any type of fake reality created by any one of these maniacs? The same reason you could go and get your body cut up by these same maniacs, right? You can get your whole body cut up. You know what I'm saying? And then have to go and get it cut up again. But you think when you get the breast implants, like that's it? Like now, as soon as them shits actually like heal, you gotta go get them re-upped. What are you talking about? So you just one big scar walking around like. I get people trust this white, they trust this reality, people who function this reality like that. They trust them enough. Like if you have to have some sort of surgery, okay. But on some vanity type, whatever, hey, I'm just gonna fix my nose. I'm just gonna tweak my skin. I'm just gonna word. Word, okay. You can not to be callous, but Donda said the same shit. Right? Why? But who's the one who said she should do it? Who's the one referred it to the doctor? Oprah. Oh, that don't mean nothing. You understand what's going on? Like this is what I'm saying, y'all. Like this is what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. Like we gotta really understand that everything that they've been getting us to agree on has been about creating a false reality. And that's what Twitter and all of these things have done. They created a false reality. Even a false reality, even in our own community, with Moors and all of that. Like one of the worst things to happen to Moors is the internet. You understand what I'm saying? Like we what do we publicly? I mean, yeah, we could celebrate our own remarks and things like that, but again, we see if Elon really wanted to be gangster, create your own Twitter. Like that's what I'm like. Well, let's create our own Twitter. Some shit just for us. I don't care about it, but people don't even gotta know about it. You understand? That's the problem. People don't even gotta know about we even have it. We can just have it. And then one day the white man turn around like, oh shit, that's how it used to be. That's how things used to be in the black community, man. One day the white man turn around, all of us got flat tops. Like when did all of that happen? One day he turn around, we all got on white t-shirts. What? One day we all got gold teeth. He's like, wait a minute, I stopped them from wearing fezzes. How are they shaving their heads in the shapes of fezzes? And still not even having knowledge of what a fez is. You understand what I'm saying? Like this is what's the problem. This is the problem. We too out here. Like I said, I told people when Black Panther came out, I said this is great, but they're gonna find a way to shut them down. Then I saw this thing what Prince Michael was talking about, and then I started researching. I was like, oh yeah, this shit cursed. This shit cursed. They're not gonna be able to freak it no more. Because it went along with my thing about 2012. When I did the classes back in 2012, I told people this is the last, we're in this reality. They're gonna try to flip a whole new reality on us. I was telling people a whole new reality in which what we remember as real, in fact, is now conjecture now. Now we say, look, that's whack. Now I'm hating. What? Now, in order to show that I'm a real American, I need to watch what I say. In order to be a real American, I gotta put this mask on. What? In order to show how patriotic and how thing I am, I gotta be open to going out with a dude. What? 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 If I don't allow a dude to hit on me, then I'm somehow homophobic or transphobic. What? What? That's like saying if I don't eat a steak, then somehow or another I really am a meat eater. Like what? 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 That doesn't make sense. None of this is real. Oh, wait, but you created this, the economic social governance system. This is the New World Order. When they talk to you about the New World Order, this is it. I'm showing you. This is it. All of the stuff they talking about with the climate change, all of that come from this. And this is why corporations like Twitter are willing to lose their shareholders' money. They willing to create a poison pill to reduce money to then be sued by the same shareholders to saying like, look, this nigga is offering us $54 a share. Before this nigga came, this shit was at $12. What? It's only worth 30. It was 12. He came, said, look, I'll buy it for almost a quarter and a half more. It's only worth 30. I'll give you 54. Then the nigga went and looked and said the people that are the shareholders, they don't even have the shareholders don't even have majority shares. He bought more shares than the people who have been there who are said to be shareholders. What are they doing? It's a grift. It's a scam. He's showing y'all the scam. He revealed it. He said they all bots. 75% of this shit is bots. The celebrities that have accounts don't even monitor their accounts, so they're not even real accounts, so they could go. Half of the offices they have are not even manned. There's nobody in them. It's just buildings, and every month they pay the landlord. It's a scam. So if they're not making money off of it, how come? Because Twitter has a situation with the United States government that they receive ESG funding. I guarantee. And they don't want the nigga to buy it because if he buy it, guess what? That means he get the full rundown. He get to see what's behind the curtain, who's been taking the money, what are the government contracts. And guess what? He's allegedly about freedom of speech. So this is like Iron Man. This would be like Iron Man becoming the head of Goldman Sachs. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if imagine if this nigga Tony, if this nigga Tony took over Goldman Sachs, what that would be, what would happen? Like they can't have it. You understand? It can't happen. That means it's all over. Because guess what? He's gonna definitely tell us. He definitely gonna tell us. And I don't have no stake in the nigga. I don't like the nigga. Whatever. I don't care one way or another about him. But what I do like is anybody that's willing to take their money and say, you know what? Let me see how bad y'all niggas really want this. Let's really see. Because I guarantee if the nigga get it and it come out that the United States government or any of these niggas got any type of money involved with it, you understand? It's forget Corona, forget all of that. You understand? That's the reality that we want to push. That's where we want to see things going. As the observers, as the passive observers, because this shit really don't even got nothing to do with us. This is all them. This is white on white crime at its best. We're supposed to be relishing this. We're supposed, you know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be wanting this. This is what we said we wanted. Right? That means 100% discovery. That means it all comes out. See, what they tried to do was this. They said, look, you can come in and buy something and then become a part of the board. If he became a part of the board, then that means he wouldn't be able to actually speak out against it. See? That's why he was like, nah. I'm gonna take my bread and I'm a double up on it. I'm gonna double up on it. Because if he withdraw his offer, you know what's gonna happen? First of all, they trying to poison pill him. So if they poison pill it, that means the stock already taken a hit. Internally, though, this is them internally destroying their own shit. They rather destroy their own shit. Because everybody on his tweets, like when he posted it and he started putting out the list of everybody who came out against it, get that list. Because that's the list of everybody that is running frontline for Vivendi, Blackstone, and Thing, who are really running frontline for the actual families, the real families. I'm not talking about Again, I ain't talking about the peons like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and them niggas don't have no money. They like they have, you know what I'm saying? Like they have money to you and me. Like they got enough bread like that. But they don't have no money. They don't have the real money. Like they don't have the keys to, the ancient reliquaries and shit like that. They don't have that. Like that's the real money. You know what I mean? Give me the keys to the ancient reliquary. Give me the keys to the ancient aquifers. Give me the keys to the underground sea. Like that's the money. That's the real bread that we supposed to be getting. Not this earthly shit. Not this luxury shit that they just that's only viable in their world. Think about it. All of the stuff they got is only viable in the world they live in. You go right now. Go right now to the poorest ghetto in Calcutta with a brick of gold. What them people gonna do with that? Or go there with a Rolex. What they gonna do with that? What they gonna do with that? Nothing. 'Cause that don't mean nothing there. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta start thinking like the old, like our ancestors, like the Titans and all of that again. That's the only way I think we're gonna be able to get out. But we thinking way too small. This guy's thinking about, look, if I take this thing over and I initiate free speech on the planet, you understand if he had take over Twitter and reestablish free speech on Earth? That, that's what this nigga basically trying to do. Kanye ain't doing that. Kanye trying to sell you some more Yeezys. Kanye trying to get help with his baby mother. Meanwhile, this nigga Elon got these white bitches on contract, and allegedly they have babies for him every couple of years. Like he got these bitches on a cycle. Like he, you know what I'm saying? Like this is what's going on. Allegedly, this is what got Amber Heard caught up. She kind of caught up with that because she allegedly was one of this thing concubines. Allegedly. So you tell me who balling, who falling. So yeah, so with this ESG thing, this is why these companies are willing to lose money because they'll get a kickback from the United States government in the form of ESG funds. See what I'm saying? This is why they want to promote the children in kindergarten having a sexual education. So this way they could justify the relinquishment of age of consent laws. The age of consent laws relinquishment is they want to function through the Senate and the Congress, but they're not going to be able to do that because all of they peoples is being locked up for pedophilia, as well as campaign fraud, voter fraud, election fraud, Russia fraud, and all of that. So they really don't want this guy to come back in because if he come back in, they might start. It might get crazy. They might establish like the public executions and all of that. Yo, they reinstated a firing squad in South Carolina, Don't do no crimes in South Carolina. They got firing squads there now. Look it up. They'll shoot you by a firing squad if you found guilty. You understand? So if they using firing squad tactics and stuff, you know what that means? That's army. That's the state mobilizing like an army. Because you gotta understand these drill rappers, these rappers and stuff, they activated by their OGs. They OGs are all old Freemasons that didn't make it. That like niggas that like went to school with Steve Harvey and what's his name and D.L. Hughley and these type of niggas. They join, you know what I'm saying? Like they hook up with these dudes. And they stay in contact through the fraternity. So you have the entertainment industrial complex, and you have the military industrial complex, and then you have the media industrial complex. So they all work in tandem. That's why you see certain niggas from the entertainment field go into the journalism field, like what's his name, like these sportscasters and these dudes when they become they just become like overnight like TV stars and stuff. That's where this is coming from. They internalize it. But see, the problem again is not them, it's us. We're not supposed to be playing ourselves with these people. Our ancestors was never about that. Like all of this interracial stuff. You see what happened to Thandie Newton? See how God don't like ugly and cute neither? Remember I told y'all this woman will be in a movie and she will be her and Zoe Saldana and the rest of them, especially them two though. Them chicks will be in a movie and they will be another color. But in whatever color, whatever planet, whatever story they in, they will always be with a white man. They will always be with a Caucasian man as they love interest. You heard? Always. I feel like it's in their contract. But then if I say, okay, so then what? So then me, as an individual, I look at these women as European. I look at these women as Caucasian. But what I realize is that they don't think that. They don't think that they're that. They think that they're still black. And I realize it's because of this. 2 Maccabees 4:15 says, and they ignored the honor of their fathers and sought the glory of the Greeks most of all. Islam. Now remember, I told you the Greeks don't exist the way that we believe they are. There was no thing. People who were called Greek, that was a way of saying stupid back in the days. I was like saying he was dumb. Just today, like, oh, you're speaking Greek. What does that mean? That means you don't know what you're talking about, right? Right? Doesn't it mean that? Oh, see, he's speaking Greek. What? Yeah. It means that you don't know what you're talking about. So we're saying that the saying is opposite of the people when the saying allegedly is based on the people? Come on now. Common sense. This is what I'm saying. They read the common sense out of us. They got us making responses for dumb niggas. Like, look, this is what they believe in. They believe in all of this. They believe that they can be this and be about so-called black liberation. This Mandela. This is the founder of the Mandela Effect. The effect. Look, and the effect was the mind, was the time distillation, right? So now when you hear the term Mandela, you don't even think about him. Look how they did this devil. Look how they did him. Now when you say Mandela, people don't even think about him. They think about a video on YouTube, Islam, about the effect. Why? Because he sold his people out. Every South African worth they salt, Zulu or anybody, they also have a statue of Winnie Mandela in their house. That's the liberator of South Africa. That's the liberator of South Africa, the great liberator. She finished what he started because he couldn't. And he sold out. But we revere him, and now we honor her. That's why I feel like they'll come out with this chick and try to make her run for president against Pedo Joe. Because they know they'll get all these brain dead black women that's married to white men or that's gay and hate men and hate children. Because now they've been all turned into hedonistic witches. That's where the witch movement come in. You get all the black women to be witches to get away from morality and all of that. Start talking about your witch power and all that and revolve it all around sex, though. Sex was the last thing these goddesses was using on niggas. You understand? That was the last thing the goddesses brought out. That was the last. Look at all of the old movies we used to watch. Clash of the Titans, Percy and all that. Once Perseus and all of that went through all of the problems of all that, then the goddess was like, okay, so let's have sex, basically. Only after all of that, that was the last thing that they could bring out. So you know how much game? You know how much game them women had? You know how much power? You know what I'm saying? Well, you couldn't even look at their breasts. That's why they be all naked. You couldn't even look at them. It'd be like, yo. You couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't even. You'd have to ask for permission. And even with permission, you'd always look them dead in the eye. You'd be scared to do that. That's how powerful these women was, man. Remember, these are the women that gave birth to giants. Think about that. These are women that gave birth to giants. 1,000-meter tall beings. Come on now. So yeah, this is why the black people losing. This is why the blacks is at the bottom, because black mean you want to be white, and all whites revere the Greeks, and nobody revere the Greeks more than the blacks. That's why the black Greeks hate you. Look at black on bleak black on bleak, black on Greek crime with that Chris Rock's Will Smith thing. Same thing. All fraternal. It's all fraternal, and they all trying to go up the same crooked ladder. See this crooked? See how crooked this ladder is? It's not straight. Is this ladder straight? No, it's crooked because they crooked as a jagged line. All of them. You see, you can't be writing this stuff. First of all, it's way too much stuff to remember. First of all, okay, you a master mason, then you a royal arc, then you a royal select master, then you a order knights templar, like all of that's God. What? Then I gotta learn all of this in the middle, the fellow craft, the master craft, the past craft, the craft. Like, come on, man. Come on, bro. You know what? This is why I see how these niggas buy degrees. They be like, you know what? Just how much? Just give, let me just give you a check. Then you just give me a breakdown. Give me a little degree, a little sash, a little apron, and now I'm good. Like, I can't be learning all of this stuff. I gotta wake up and go to work in the morning. That's why they got lazy. It was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go brand them. Let's start branding niggas. You know what I mean? Let's start making up shit and see what they do. That's what they doing. Let's laugh at these niggas in secret. Tell them to knock down the wall. Watching this man jump up and down, break his neck, break his back, break his thing to get in the wall. And all he had to do was walk up to the wall and knock down it. And then don't let the nigga in. Then after all that, don't let him in. Oh, you the devil. Y'all niggas. Oh, I see what y'all down with. I see why y'all get down with Skull and Bones. I see why you I see why you in with these white people. Y'all good, y'all. Yeah, y'all will make it happen. One way or the other, I see. Crooked as a broke line. That's them. That's why I said nothing will ever come good from anybody down with it. Not because I say so, not because I'm hating on them, but because I've been alive for 49 years and I've yet to see one fraternal organization do anything. Don't bring up the Shriners. Don't even bring that, because that's organ harvesting, trafficking, and all of that. So don't even bring that up. But I have yet to see I've yet to see one thing that has happened from the so-called rap community, other than what individuals that I know have put into it, that has helped everybody. It hasn't made us no closer, has it? No, because I could look just like you, and I get off the plane in LA somewhere. I get off in LA somewhere, and these niggas walk up to me, yo, what up, cuz? What up, this? I don't know stuff, none of that. These niggas rob me just like nobody else. Meanwhile, a white man could be walking, standing right next to me, and they don't cuz him. Did you take the thing off? Did you wipe it down? I've yet to see that happen. I've yet to see any rapper actually go out. Like this YNWF Melly thing, he might be the first rapper to get the death penalty. You understand what that means? That's going to set a precedent. That's why these rappers want to get. That's why they want to get the words stricken from the records and all of that. But you can't do that because once you said it, it goes out everywhere, and that's what these rappers don't realize, that it echoes throughout time now. You understand? Throughout time, these people gonna be hearing these lyrics forever. You understand what I'm telling you? I'm telling you that bitches ain't shit gonna be playing forever somewhere. forever. Somebody gonna be listening to that. Can you imagine that? Something as trivial as that becoming something that echoes through time, through all of time. So imagine what else echoes through time like that. Like, we don't get it. So this is why these people want to understand. That's why I want to keep it going forever. They'll never have to pay for this. You understand what I'm saying? They never have to pay for it. Like, it goes full circle. Let me show you how it goes full circle. You know where they fighting right now? That place that they calling what you call it? What is that called? Ukraine. Well, Ukraine, as we've been talking in this class, used to be this. Sorry, I got this old mouse because my wireless stopped working. The modern day Ukraine be called Khazaria. The Khazar Khanate, right, was being run by the Kazan Khanate. The Kazans were a group of indigenous descendants of the Scythians, i.e., black people, who had control over the steppes and the so-called wild Khazar, who were the white people out of the 6 hills of the Caucasus. There's a book you can get called Making of the White Man by Paul Laurence Guthrie, and it talks to you about this region. There's another rare book called 12 Secrets of the Caucasus by Aseer, and he talks about the wild people and the wild Khazars that used to live out there. That those wild Khazars eventually became known as the Jews or Israelis or Israel lies. See, the lies of Israel. That's them. So analogous to that are the Amorites, which is a branch of ancient Libyan race of Semitic origin, inhabiting Canaan before the arrivals of the Israelites of Egypt. So before the so-called people they're calling the Israelite. Now remember, the Israelites was the combination of the worshippers of Isis, Ra, and Elohim. Got it? That book was called 12 Secrets of the Caucasus by Aseer. That's a rare one. There's another one called Making of the White Man by Paul Laurence Guthrie. He's a detractor of the Nation of Islam. He's going in on them. But that book specifically helped me a lot. Then we have the Canaanites, one of the main branches of the great Semitic family inhabiting Palestine, right? And the Mauritanian seacoast in ancient times, including the Jews, the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, the Moabites, the Amorites, the Idumeans, the Philistines, a fierce and warlike people with a remarkable genius for religion, which has greatly influenced the modern world. Remember, the Israelite religion came from the Canaanites. Remember that. The original religion of the so-called Israelites was the god of Canaan, who was El or Elion, and then they rejected him and went with Yah or Yahweh, who was the war deity from the mountains. See, that communicated allegedly with Musa, who they call Moses, which is why he brought down his commandments from the same stone that was the stone from the mountain, because Yahweh was a mountain war deity and he demanded sacrifice. That's why he shut them down when he found them worshiping Hathor, who was the golden calf. Islam, because they were reverting back to their old so-called Ra days. See? Ethiopians, an ancient Berber tribe settled in Egypt at least 5,000 years ago, now represented by fair Berbers of Mauritania. But remember, Mauritanian coast, that's everything over here. They're talking about the Pacific coast. Because Mauritania in our American history is everything west, right, of the Neuse and the Bravos River, Islam, according to the congressional records of 1850 or 1845, right? Therefore, the Ethiopians were the Berbers, meaning the Moors. So right here is basically saying that the Ethiopians were the Moors of Mauritania, who existed at the time of Homer. Now, I don't know about you, but Homer existed long before the time of so-called Islam, right? The religion of Islam, right? I.e., that we were Moors before the religion of Islam even existed. I'm talking about the modern day religion that was passed on to the Pale Arab that they take the credit for, right? Because we as Canaanites was consolidated as Moabites, i.e. Moors, from time immemorial. And we are the ones that created the three Abrahamic religions, right? Because Abraham liked the shit we was putting down so much that he adopted our ways of life, correct? And then from that union came, but that was also divinely prepared from the line that we all share from the so-called three main patriarchs, right? Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And at the bottom of each one, we have our Caucasoid or our lighter skin remnant that we each are responsible for. And that in some epochs in time becomes our jailer. So let's be ourselves and stop being other people, man. Stop worrying about what these other nations is doing. And start to divest and use our political power as we see fit, i.e., creating a investment group the same way like everybody else do, and put it under Republican principles in terms of its domestic position, but have its foreign position, have its establishment under a foreign trust the same way they do. And then let's use our investment firm for political purposes to start to influence lobbying situations to see what we want to see make happen. Because out of both parties right now, which is the one you feel that you could have the most influence in, the Democrat or the Republican? I'm not talking about joining anything. I'm asking you, which one do you think needs your energy the most right now? Yeah, the Republican. Because they're the closest ones alive to your values, because their values are based in what? Conservatism, right? We're Moors, we're conservatives. We conserve, right? We want to conserve what we have, correct? See, the term progressive doesn't mean it's different than progression. You can be progressive with no progression. Understand? Because the other party, and I'm not saying the Democrats are any better, Republicans are any better. I'm just saying in terms of your influence, what you can influence now to see what you want to see happen. Which one you think gonna do your bidding, and which one you think most need you most of all? Them. Because the other side is this. This is what the other side putting down. So, people down with that, then cool. You know what I'm saying? Just don't get upset when you find out what's really going on. That's all I'm saying. And for those people back in the day, because you know I be doing videos and stuff, people be acting like sometimes I'll get comments and people be acting like stuff I'm saying is crazy. It's not true, or you know I'm trying to. I don't know what these people be thinking. And it don't really be for them. It be for people who just maybe start watching what I'm doing and then like be like, oh damn, I didn't want to. I want to support this guy and he's crazy. So I was talking about these melanin conferences that they've been having all of these years and stuff, and people was acting like it wasn't true. I said one time on the show how this dude who allegedly was a doctor who was going to this thing, was listening to superhero radio and was upset. All this stuff that he was seeing and nobody was really building on and all that. And so I told him to send me one of the brochures or whatever from the shit he did, whoever this person was. So I just wanted to show this. Get it out. Yes, here we go. Showing I'm bugging. This is back in 2019. 2019. This is the Pan American Society for Pigment Cell Research. PASMACR is a scientific society. You hear that? A scientific society devoted to those of us interested in various aspects of pigment cells. Our society is a very interactive one, meeting on an annual basis. See? And it's composed of clinicians, developmental biologists, biochemists, immunologists, cell biologists, molecular biologists, chemists, and physics, among other disciplines. Look at the past card information on the information for our society. See that? See that? It's 2019 this was in, right? Then what happened 2020? Rona, right? Rona, right? But who they wanted to target first with the vaccines and all of that? Who? The black people, right? The people with the melanin, right? Oh, okay. I'm bugging though, right? Okay. Joint Montagna Symposium on the Biology of Skin and Pan American Society for Pigment Cell Research Conference. What? Pan American? See, anytime you see Pan in it, that's the devil. Pan, Pan, the devil with the Pip the troll with the flute. Yeah, pansexual, like one of the Disney employees talking about that she was the mother of a proud pansexual child. Like what? Your child is pansexual? What? Oh, you're a groomer. Oh, you're grooming. Do you know that they tried to outlaw that on Reddit where you can't say okay groomer? They trying to outlaw that. That's how heavy we on these people head. We on these people head where they gotta put fact checks on everything that we say that we know is true. You understand? And they already had to admit that all the fact checks is a lie. That Snopes, one of the biggest fact check sites, is actually a porn site. It's actually run by porn stars. So all the time you got blocked on Facebook and fact checked on Facebook, you did it from a goddamn sexual deviant. Yeah, this is another conference. See all the conferences? Look, look. Yeah. Then they have another startup called Ambrosia, which was backed by Peter Thiel, who set up PayPal and already offers teenage blood plasma transfusions to elderly customers at a cost of $6,202 in dollars or euros for 2.5 liters of blood. Okay, Professor Partridge has said that it's too soon to tell if these customers are wasting their money, but she said in the future these treatments could become the norm according to the times. This is why they want to devalue children so they can take everything and harvest everything out the live child. This is facts what I'm talking to you about. Straight facts. This ain't no made up shit. This melanin shit is real. I showed you they using melanin in computer chips and all of that now. Where they getting all this melanin from to do this? Ample opportunity will be made for young investigators, include graduate students, postdoctoral fathers, to be the conference was made possible. See, by the National Institute of Arthritis and Muscular Cellular Skin Diseases. They want to start to inject melanin into the actual recess of diseases because it's so good at breaking shit up and turning shit into what they want. Merging melanin and nanotechnology. They showed you this in X-Men, Days of Future Past. Remember? What color was the Sentinels? Black, right? This is what they trying to turn us into, y'all. This is what they talking about doing to us at the Biology of Skin Pan American Society for Pigment Cell Research Conference, while these niggas is out here going to little dirt concerts and worrying about whether or not they gonna slide for Vaughn and shit. Like this is what's up, bro. This is where all of these bodies, these niggas is racking up. This is where they going. Why you think these rappers and these niggas work hand in hand? Why you think they ain't tell us about the meeting until 20, 30 years later? Because they always been in on it. They was never about what we thought they was about. So now that we know, like I said, they're going to bring back all that old rap you like. Watch. You're going to hear groups you ain't never heard about, that you ain't never think about in 30 years coming together to do that good hip-hop you like. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the new G. And when they do it, remember, Aseer told me. He told me they was going to. He told me. He told me. Told me these niggas right here. These ones right here. This is the ones that's directly affecting our lives right now. Them. These devils. And they all down with it. You understand? So big up to brother Wesley Muhammad for creating a great graph. Because it's been illustrating what we've been talking about for over 20 plus years. So when you see these rappers now coming out trying to be conscious and all of that, like this is all to combat what I'm telling you. You understand? Because you're now the one that looks at them as weird. Like you in a reality now where, remember, we grew up under movie stars. There's no movie stars left. Nobody cares about movie stars. They're weirdos. Who wants to be a movie star? It's a weirdo. Like you're putting yourself in some crazy stuff. Now the only way you care about a movie star is if they're playing a character you like. Like the only way you care about this person is if they playing Black Panther or not. You don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's who they playing is what you going to see now. Not the person. They deaded that. So now the movie stars gotta come YouTube stars. They gotta be right next to you now. Who wants that? And the closer they are to you, the more you see how much weirdos they are. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that whole Brooklyn shooting thing, that shit was cap. I'm not saying people ain't dying nothing, you know, condolences to them if they did, but nah, there's no way that happened. He showed this dude picture the next day. They run up on the other dude too. Like, nah, I'm trying to flip this black extremist terrorist thing, and it's not gonna work. Yeah, but yeah, this is the thing, and they all down with it. You know what I'm saying? It's a brotherhood, it's a sisterhood. They all down with it. Anybody that's connected to them is down with it. Like you gotta understand that. And you're not unless you get down with it. Once you're down with it, then you're down with it. But right now, you're not. If you're on the fringes of it, no, you're not. You're not. Anybody have any other questions? But there's a correlation between the rise of drugs and certain rap eras, certain rap songs. It's a rise of delinquency that comes from that. That's why you have the nigga persona being enacted by so many people that aren't niggas. I never see so many niggas acting like niggas that's not niggas, to the point that, and then what they do, like Jack Harlow, to get like a black chick to co-sign them, because the black women today that's mainstream, all they're there to do is co-sign the acts of the devil. They have no real personalities. They have no real agenda as individuals. They have no thoughts outside of what's programmed into them based upon their agreements to create Frankensteins and more mutants. So I say, instead of, unlike a lot of people, especially with this new X-Men crowd, like, get the Sentinels in, wipe the mutants out. I'm saying, like wipe them out. We don't need to see, the gay Wolverine and the orgies on the island. Like, go back to the Danger Room. Like, what happened to that? Like, we over all of this extra stuff, bro. We not with the grooming of the kids. We not with the baby disposals. We not with none of that. We not with the abattoirs. We not with none of this. So, yeah, that was that from Mandela. He they was going in on him with the killing. Yeah, there's a couple pyramids in Antarctica. The real pyramids is the one we need to be paying attention to. The ones that's right under Cuba. The Cuban government all of a sudden don't want to deal with no more. Oh, the Maccabees. Yeah, that is a Maccabees 2:4-15, and they choose not the look of thy oppressor. No, it said that they worshipped the oppressor, but they worshiped the Greeks most of all. So that's them. That's us as the Maccabees coming under this false Grecian Roman religion that they refer to as sorrow and fraternity, which has really destroyed Black so-called Moorish America. It's destroyed generations of people by passing on these curses and producing a lot of the hedonistic lifestyles through oppression and repression. You know what I'm saying? As well as color stigmatization. Like, a lot of the racial divide and the racial stuff that would have died out after high school was reignited in you after college, when you found out only the dark skinned girls, if you was dark skinned, you couldn't be a sigma. You had to be a delta. If you was light skinned, you could be an alpha. See what I'm saying? If you was brown skinned, you could be a you know what I'm saying, some other shit. But it's color coded. So who created that? The white man? No, no, because Willie Lynch didn't exist. That's another made up story that these elders created and wrote in a book and then passed on like that shit was true. But that wasn't even true neither. Willie Lynch never existed, because there was never organization to perpetuate slavery in long term after the Reconquista. I mean, after Reconstruction. And at the time that they was talking about Willie Lynch and all that, like, it wasn't even true. One of the modern scholars wrote that shit. It's out here now. Anybody else? Yeah, man. So you've been perpetrating this lie for over 20, 30 years. You've been pumping this lie. You know how many books I read about like, niggas done wrote books on the Willie Lynch syndrome. Like, you understand? Niggas wrote books on that based on what this dude wrote in the 70s. He wrote that in the 70s, bro. Like, in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, like, the message in the breaks came out, the Willie Lynch letter come out. You understand? I'm putting it into context for you. The same time we was listening to Rakim and shit, this nigga was penning the Willie Lynch letter, bro. telling us that this shit, making it seem like this shit came back out in 1755. This the game. These scholars, these black liberal scholars, you see what I'm saying? Who I told you where they came from. I told you where they came from. So this is the first generation of broke back buck niggas. This is the first generation of niggas that was broke. They watched Bobby get killed, Malcolm. They watched Bobby get killed, Michael get killed, Martin get killed, Michael get killed, Mega get killed, Johnny get killed. They watched all these niggas die. So by the time Coakley's one of the last ones looking like, oh, all these niggas sold out. All these niggas sold out. So all we have is each other, Moors. That's from Second Maccabees, from the Bible. Second Maccabees 4:15. Yeah, they was all linked up. Just like Easter. Like when I was a little kid, Easter was in March. Now it's in April. That's what y'all doing now? So what, he died twice? Like what? So y'all just move the date where y'all want. Y'all just okay, cool. You dig what I'm saying? See, that wouldn't have happened in the timeline we was in. That's how I know the world ended 2012. We just woke up in this reality, just part of this reality. We just woke up here now, and we've been watching the shit descend ever since that. Shit started getting better under the, I would say, in my opinion, shit got better towards the Trump thing until the very end when they started burning up the cities to get them out. But shit got better for black people. I don't know what you talking about. I don't know what these niggas talking about. Shit got better. And I'm not saying it's because of him. I'm just saying because of the energy that was coming in with that perspective of republicanism. Because he wasn't a Republican, remember? He wasn't a Republican. He came in as an independent, but the Republicans had to graft onto him because of what he represented. You see what I'm saying? Because that is the government that we're all guaranteed regardless. So at the very end, in the Republican form of government, you're guaranteed a certain degree of freedom. Period. In a democracy, there's no such thing. You dig? So if I gotta choose between the two of them, I'm gonna go with the one I'm guaranteed. Because guaranteed means I get paid. But it's a meritocracy. I get paid based on what I do, what I produce, not what I just get for not doing shit. See? Because of years of racial oppression. Come on now. Come on now. Ain't nobody oppressing us at this point. Let me rephrase that. There is oppression. Yet, when you come up, a lot of that shit gets shut down. And when you come up, your come up actually oppresses somebody else. That's how ill it is. Your come up actually oppresses somebody else. That's how these niggas got it. You're not supposed to have none. They don't want nobody to be rich. They don't want nobody to have no money, but they still want to get sponsored by Twitter and Google. And you dig what I'm saying? It's over. Something got to give. So once these Republicans come in and take over, you're gonna hear more about this tape, more about the sex thing. They're gonna have to get this dude out of there. Then they're gonna have to deal with Kamala and the Illuminati police thing that she was a part of. I showed y'all that. Niggas went to jail behind that. People died behind that. Behind her little Freemasonic, black little Freemasonic police force. Look it up. They complain. Only thing worse than a rap is a Freemason. At this point. You notice I say rapper. I'm not talking about MCs. I'm talking about musicians. I'm talking about these rappers. They're the face of the oppression at this point. So you got to understand that. Yeah. So we want to dead that, you know, and when the old geezers come out with the new resurgence and the conscious hip hop thing, remember there's a hook in that bait. And look for the obscure ones like the Most Defs and these types of people. Or the like the backpack rappers. I mean not isolate him, like the backpack rapper type, them type dudes. they're gonna start trying to come back out. Just to throw it off. So anybody have any anybody that hasn't, if you could send the $30 to Cash App via capital money sign capital DS418.com or through PayPal. It's dukeoftears@gmail.com. Guys want to hit me up about the individual process or anything dealing with hell@hotmail.com. Definitely yeah, I'm gonna take another picture of it and then I'll post it. Yeah, I do have it. I just don't have it queued up. But next class I'll put up the book list again. You can check that out. Also, just for everybody to know, when I talk about the so-called families that's running it, just like I was showing you with the hierarchy of the thing, the real families that's running it all is the Borgias, the Breakspears, the Samaglias, the Orsini, the Conti, the Chigi, the Colonia, the Colonna, right, which is where Columbus and them is from, Colonna and them is from, the Farnese, the Medici, the Gaetani, the Este, the Aldobandini, and the Sassoon. All the other families on earth fall under them. So when these people start talking to you about Rothschild and all of that, you know, those are the errand boys, those are the janitors, those are the small money families. Our enemies is the real ones, the ones that's running Vivendi, the one that's running not even the Red Shields. Those is like they're the custodians. The ones that I just mentioned are the real bloodline, real reptiles, those are the ones. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, those devils. So that's what I'm saying. That's what we're really dealing with. And once you know the devil name, there's no fear into what it can manifest at this point. So when you do your spiritual thing or whatever, just know that the faces that they show us is never the real ones. And especially if they make it like this is the real bad one, that dude is probably the least evil out of all of them. You dig? So don't get fooled. And like I said, Moors, we all we got. So fortify yourself with the real info. Keep your spiritual body up. Don't fall victim to the new food shortage shit they're gonna try to press soon. And like I said, when you start peeping the game, you know, shoot me an email or text and let me know you peeping. All right? Indeed. Indeed, Moors. Islam, man. Islam. That's right, Moors. Let's stay ahead of the game, man. Because we humanity's last hope, bro. I'm telling you, everybody else has been dummied down to the point of a low, dullard stupor. So let's keep that Moorish science up, man. You know what I mean? And like I said, get our shit together so we can establish investment groups, so we can start to take control of things agriculturally and stop holding on to what happened in the past. Because that's where they want to keep us. They want to keep us locked in the past, so we don't use this Moorish paradigm money that's here for us in the present right now. And I'm not talking about the internet type shit. I'm not talking about these fake consulates and these fake whatevers. I'm talking about real in the world money that is activated once we can establish our own homes, like I said, as temples, which then makes them religious institutions, which then means that they can come together as religious societies and then create a lobbying situation that we pledge a certain amount of, that then becomes a pool that we then can afford lobbyists to then establish, you know, maybe we need a Moorish town, maybe we need a Moorish rectory, maybe we need a Moorish this or whatever. And we'll guarantee a block vote the way that the Moors elected Oscar the Priest back in the days. We'll conglomerate as one block vote from voters all over the country to get this one dude in. Once that dude's in, we can then call a ticket and do what we need to get done first because we're the ones that got him in. That's how the game works, Moors. That's the tribute. Now they owe us. You understand? That's what it is. But these dirty ones, they not going to work like that. They're going to want to try to make it where it's a get rich quick thing. Because most of these Moors is Jesuits, believe it. You did. So let's get on the right side of history and make it happen, man. Islam? Yes, yes. But you can do that if we have a strong enough institution to vet these people. So let's make it happen, Moors. We can, inshallah. Peace.